देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाशादिदेश जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत राधा श्रीवासव हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So what is the ninth chapter's name? Ninth chapter is
confidential knowledge.
Confidential knowledge, or in Sanskrit it is called
Rajavidya Rajaguhyam.
Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyakshavagamam Dharmam Susugam Kartavavim. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam. So Rajavidya, it's the king of knowledge, and Rajaguhyam, it is the king of all confidential things. Okay, so hearing about the confidential knowledge about Krishna, we'll see the qualification and disqualification for that. So there are 34 slokas in this chapter. We'll try to finish in 2 sessions, 2 or 3. So 4th to 10 slokas is about the Aishwarya Jnana, Krishna's relationship with this world. So why do you think it's called the most topmost knowledge and the confidential knowledge, the 9th chapter?
Yes. Mataji, is it because it's the purest form of devotional service that would take everyone back to the Godhead?
Yes.
Is that?
Yes. So this, once you know this knowledge, you can directly go back to Godhead. So that's why it is the most topmost and the confidential knowledge. Yes. So that means it is about pure bhakti. It's about bhakti yoga. And the 34th sloka of this chapter. Does anyone know the sloka? Very important sloka. Manmana.
Manmana bhava madbhakto yadi mam namaskuru mameva eshyati pratijane priyoshime.
No, that is in 18th chapter 65 sloka. The last line, as Prabhu said, it is Mame Vaishasyatteva Atmana Matparayana. But the same thing Krishna repeats in the 18th chapter 65th sloka, the same thing again. And there it is Pradijani Priyosime. Satyam. Okay. So a little difference, but yes. So the most confidential knowledge, because if you do these 4 things, man mana, always think about Krishna. Mat bhakto, become Krishna's devotee. Madhyaji, worship Krishna, and Mam namaskuru, pay obeisances to Krishna. If you do these 4 things, you can definitely go back to Krishna. So it's a confidential knowledge. And Arjuna and Krishna is revealing to us. We are also fortunate because Krishna is giving that confidential guhyam, guhyatamam, guhyatar. The guhyam, the Rajavidya, Rajaguhyam, the most important secret which Krishna is going to say to us. The most confidential knowledge. So Prabhupada says that Lord Krishna is the supreme Godhead and the supreme object of worship. The soul is eternally related. Okay, so by reviving one's pure devotion, one can return back to Krishna. So this is taught in this chapter. In chapter 8, we saw how by at the end of life, we can go back to Krishna, how we can think about Krishna at the time of death. So again, Krishna takes us through Bhakti Yoga, and this 9th chapter is based on Kevala Bhakti, most confidential. So there are 3 things in entire Bhagavad Gita, okay? Guhya, Guhyatara, Guhyatamam. The 3 levels of secrets. One is Guhya. Guhya means confidential. That is, we are not this body, we are spirit soul. That is Guhya, okay? Confidential. The secret. More confidential is Guhyatara, which is knowledge of Bhakti. Bhakti is the highest. And Guhyatamam, the most confidential is that this pure devotional service to Krishna. Okay, so there are 3 grades. Guhya, we learned in chapter 2, basically, that we are not this body, we are spirit souls. That is Guhya, that is confidential. Guhyatara, that means the more confidential is that knowledge of Bhakti, which we studied from 7th and 8th chapter. Then most confidential is Guhyatamam, which is the knowledge of Kevala Bhakti or pure devotional service. So we'll see the few slokas. We'll see chapter 9, 1 to 3 is about hearing about Krishna. Okay. Why is it important to hear about Krishna and who are qualified, who are not? The qualification to achieve this most confidential knowledge. Shri Bhagavanu Vaja Idam Tu Guhyatamam Prapakshyami Anusuyave Jnanam Vijnana Sahitam Yajnatva Mokshashe Ashubhat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, because you're never envious of me. Okay, so he was never envious. Anasuyave. So Krishna, since Arjuna was never envious of Krishna, Krishna is revealing this confidential knowledge. I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence. So he is saying, So most confidential knowledge is given to Arjuna. Why? Because Arjuna is very envious of Krishna. What are the other reasons? We have total 5 reasons why Arjuna was selected by Krishna. So what are they? One is
His friends
Mataji, because he was his
He
constant
is the pure
companion,
devotee of Krishna, Mataji.
he was a
Soft,
devotee and
soft and kind
Completely
hearted.
constant
surrendered.
companion,
soft and kind-hearted. He was a friend, a devotee.
Completely surrendered, Mataji.
Yes, surrendered, soul,
And
eternal
not
associate.
envious.
Yes, and
eternal
non-envious.
associate,
And non-envious. Yes. Who is Arjuna eternally?
Nara Narayan, he was Nara.
Okay. Then who
Vishaka
else? In Goloka, who is he?
Vishaka Sakhi.
Vishakha.
Vishaka Saki.
Sakhi.
Lalita, Vishaka, Tijata Saki Vrinda. So if you see, even ISKCON Vrindavan, you have Radharani, Krishna, and Lalita and Vishaka. Very, very close, confidential associates of the Lord. So Vishaka Saki himself is, herself has come as Arjuna. So one is he was a friend, he was a devotee, he was kind, soft-hearted, he was non-envious, and confidential associate of the Lord, close associate of the Lord. So these were some of the reasons Krishna reveals this.
Mataji, then who is Lalita Sakhi, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Lalita Saki is Swarupa. This is Swarup Das Goswami. Swarup Das. So there are two. That is Ramananda Rai came as Arjuna and Lalita Saki was Swarup Damodar in Chaitanya Leela.
Okay, thank you.
So importance of proper hearing is very important. Okay, so he's like, please hear from me, and I'm going to speak the most confidential knowledge. So we have Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnutana. First is Shravanam. We have 2 years. First, you have to hear about Krishna. Once if you don't hear about Krishna, how will we realize? It's called Shruti Praman, no? So message of the Godhead are full potencies, and these potencies can be realized if the topics regarding the Supreme Lord is discussed among devotees, and we should keep constantly hearing. This bhakti is compared to a bhakti lada bija. It's the seed. So when you sow the seed, you have to water it, no, and like give some proper sunlight. So that is Shravanam and Kirtanam. So hearing has to be done. Okay. So we become advanced in Krishna consciousness through our ears by hearing. So what are the 2 benefits of hearing about Krishna? One is spiritually advancing, and next is free from material miseries. We become free from all the material miseries. That's called Kleshagni. So the Srinvata Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayanda Stabatrani Vidinodi Sundal Sadam. Srinvata Swakata Krishna. If you hear about Krishna, all the abhatras, all the misgivings in the heart will go. So it's a potent message. It's full of potencies. And when pure devotees speak, there's a lot of difference, no? Those who have heard Prabhupada's lecture, you feel there's a lot of difference when pure devotees speak and when normal devotees speak. Why is that a difference? Why is Prabhupada's lecture so powerful, which can change someone's life? Just by hearing Prabhupada, so many have surrendered their life to this mission.
Purity and their surrender.
He's the purest devotee.
Sadhana
Mataji.
bhakti.
He is a pure devotee, but why is it that the pure devotees' words are so powerful? That's my question. Why is pure
Because he
devotees?
sent from Gokul.
Huh?
Because he sent from Vaikuntha down to.
Yes, definitely he is an eternal associate of the Lord. He's come from there. Yes. There's a second reason. It's a primary reason.
So Mataji, he's empowered by Krishna.
He's empowered. Yes, definitely he's empowered. Krishna, they are Shakti avatars of the Lord. They are all manjaris.
They shower mercy on other souls, Mataji. The mercy they feel for other souls is very
The
high.
compassion or the mercy, yes, that is there. The mercy.
Because his Hare Krishna Mataji, because his words are absolutely unalloyed and uncontaminated. It is coming from the center of the truth.
Yes. So when the pure devotees speak, okay, I've read this from Bhagavatam. It says pure devotees have Krishna in their heart. Our form of Chaitya Guru is the Paramatma form. Okay, we all have. But for pure devotees, Tumara Hridaya Sada Govinda Vishram. It's Krishna. It's the Shyam Sundar form in their heart. Okay, that's why we pay obeisances to them and we surrender to them. We take diksha or initiation from them because they can give us Krishna. So when they have Krishna in their heart, it seems when pure devotee speaks, the words touch the lotus feet of Krishna in their heart and comes out. So it becomes purified. It becomes so transcendental, those words. It's not different from Krishna. So, but when we speak, might be it's from here or it's from just here, not from the heart as such. But pure devotees have realized Krishna and they have Krishna in their heart, as Prabhu said. Their words are so uncontaminated and it's directly from the parampara. And what they speak, it's not they speaking, it's actually Krishna speaking to them. As Prabhupada said, my books are not written by me, it's Krishna who wrote. So when pure devotees speak, it is said the speech, that words touch the lotus feet of Krishna and comes out. So that's why it's so powerful. I request all of you to keep hearing Prabhupada. I think the 9th chapter, Prabhupada has given so many lectures on Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya. Just type Prabhupada's lectures on Bhagavad Gita chapter 9. Get so many lectures. Keep hearing and drinking the nectar because it's so pure. He's a pure devotee. So just by hearing from a pure devotee, we can have a lot of changes in our heart. So Lord will help us to understand that, because he sees the mentality and sincerity of the particular living entity who's engaged in Krishna consciousness, and Krishna will give the intelligence. Tadami buddhi yogam tam. Krishna is telling Arjuna more confidential matters to encourage Arjuna in a higher elevation in potential service. And when you hear about Krishna, all material miseries vanish. So today in the Bhagavatam class, Prabhu was saying that there is no satiation in Krishna consciousness. Like in material things, you keep hearing a song, there is a limit. You can hear 10 times, 100 times, not more than that. But Hare Krishna Mahamantra, there are Prabhupada's disciples who've been 50 years in the movement, 50. And they're chanting the same Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day, 16 times into 108 or more than that. And they're never getting bored. Nobody gets bored with the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the Kirtan, or the Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because it's transcendental. It's always Nava Yavanamchi. It's always fresh because it's not different from Krishna. Okay, so we need to keep hearing, and all the material pangs, miseries will go away from us. And a pure devotee is like a liberated soul. Even though in this material body, he is always liberated. Okay, and we should hear from such person. So hearing is important, but hearing from the right person, from the right source is also important. Okay, and idam jnanam means the 9-fold process of devotional service, everything has to be done. And one's heart becomes cleansed of all material contamination when you hear about Krishna and understand the science of Krishna. Because Gologera Premadan Harinam Sankirtan. This Harinam Sankirtan has come from Goloka, not from this material world. Material life, there is anything you keep looking, there is a saturation, there's the saturation, you can't do it anymore. But spiritually, it's not like that. Again and again, you feel like doing more and more devotional services. And non-envious. This is one of the important qualifications which Arjuna had. He was not envious of Krishna. That is one of the qualifications here properly. Nirmat Saranam Sata. In Bhagavatam also says, Janmadyas Dharma Prochita Kaidavotra Parama Nirmat Saranam Sata. I think 1.1.1, first canto, first chapter, verse number 2 says that this Dharma, this Bhagavata Dharma can be heard only by Nirmatsara. Nirmatsarya. Matsarya means this envy. So somebody who doesn't have this envy can definitely hear. Envy is the root of all misinterpretation. So this set of qualification for anyone, this sets the qualification who want to hear Bhagavad Gita. Okay, no news of any high academic scholarship or anything, but one who criticizes the character of Krishna without knowing him is foolish, and we should avoid such commentaries. Mayavadi Bhashi Shunile Hoya Sarvanash. Mahaprabhu says you should not hear from a Mayavadi, you should see from where he be here. That's why we see all temple Bhagavatam class and everything is taken by an initiated devotee, because they represent the parampara. That's very important. And that's bona fide commentary, which is possible by a devotee. Because Prabhupada repeated what he heard from his guru. His guru repeated from he heard from his guru. So Prabhupada says to become a nice speaker, you just have to hear nicely. If you are a nice listener, then you can become a nice speaker. The second sloka is very important sloka. It says, Raja Vidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyakshavagaman Dharmyam Susukam Kartamavyayam. So this Vidya, this knowledge which Krishna is going to speak in this chapter, is Raja Vidya. It's the king of all education. Why is it called the king? Why is this Bhakti Yoga the king of all education?
Mataji, is it because once we understand this, then we have actually been able to get the most important understanding for our lives, that this is the secret.
It's the
Hello?
highest, right?
Krishna is giving this knowledge to Arjuna.
So that means it's the highest.
Yes, and this was given to Surya Bhagwan, Surya Devta too, right? So that's okay.
So it's the highest. So Raja means what? King. So as Manushi Madan said, yes, there's nothing more to know about it because Krishna says, Matta Paradaram Naniyat Kinnidasti Dhananjay. There's no truth about Krishna or superior to Krishna or equal to Krishna. Everybody is below that. Ekala Ishvara Krishna Arasabhritya. He's the Ishvara. So Rajavid is the king of it. There's nothing to be known beyond that. Like some subjects, if you take a PhD, that's done. That's the highest. There's no more going about beyond that. Something like that. So that's the highest. So that's called Rajavidya. And Rajaguhyam, again, the king of all secrets, because after knowing this, there's nothing to be known. And Pavitram, it's pure. Krishna and Krishna's holy name, Krishna's services are so pure. That's why when people say, like, if somebody dies in the family, can we chant? Can we read Bhagavad Gita? Yes, definitely, because that will not impure Krishna. Krishna is like sun. Krishna Surya Sama. So the sun, even though it absorbs all the urine and all the waste things, it will never get impure. So Krishna is like that. He's pure of all pure. Even Mataji's, when in the monthly problem, there's no problem in some of them don't even touch their beads. Nothing like that. You have to do more chanting and more services. But if you can't do personal service, at least hearing and reading and chanting has to be done because Krishna is pure. Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. He's Pavitram, he's so pure, and no material contamination can touch Krishna. And he's Uttama, transcendental to all darkness or ignorance of this world. Pratyaksha Bhagavam, give direct experience of the self by realization. Dharmam is the highest religion, perfection. That's a service to the Lord. Susukam Kartavya, it can be easily and enjoyably performed by anyone. It seems even kids can participate. You can see some kids dancing in the kirtan. It might be they're sleeping in the class, but still that vibration will purify them. So it's Susukam. Even a child can perform this devotional service. So these are the 8 characteristics of knowledge of pure bhakti is mentioned in the second sloka, which is Raja Vidya. That means it's the knowledge is the king of education because it's the essence of everything, all the philosophy. And Raja Guhyam, it's most confidential also because it talks about the eternal activities of the soul and confidentially it explains the soul as imperishable and immutable. Okay. So, and most modern education system, it just deals with external knowledge. But this Bhagavad Gita is about the soul. So it's Rajaguhyam. So Rajavidya, Raja. Pavitram idamuttam. It's pure for all activities. Okay. So those who are engaged in devotional service, all sinful reactions, whether it is fructified, stock, or in the form of seed, gets vanished. Yes, Siddharth Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Is it also like Sarva Upanishadaka? Upanishads are not.
Gavo, Gota, Gopalanandana,
Therefore, it
Vatsa, Sudhir, Gopta, Dugdam, Gita, Britam. Yes, that's from Gita Mahatmya by Adi Shankaracharya. So he said, as he said, Sarva Upanishata Gava. So all the Upanishads is kept together. This essence is the Gita Upanishad. Okay, it's the essence. And all the Upanishads are compared to a cow, and the cow is getting milk. The milk is done by Krishna. And who's drinking that milk? Partha Vatsa. Vatsa, he's like a cow, a calf. Arjuna is drinking that nectar. Yes, Prabhu. So it's a Sarva Upanishad. It's the essence, the cream. You churn the milk and the buttermilk and that butter comes out. It means that's the essence is Bhagavad Gita. So that means you don't have to read any Upanishads. Some of them approached me saying that we want to study Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda. Are you all teaching Vedas? So we are like, we don't have time to teach all these Vedas, nor you will understand all this. So better you study Bhagavad Gita because that's enough. Because that is enough. Eka Shastro Devaki Putra Gita. Adi Shankaracharya says in Gita Mahatmya. One Shastra is enough. That is Bhagavad Gita. Okay, and it is pure and Pavitram. Pavitra means it is okay, all the 4 stages of bija. Okay, like there is something called papam, putam, bijam, phalanmukam. Like when we do any sin, it can be in a seed form, or it can be little matured. It can be completely matured. So whatever sin we have done in our previous life, the completely matured is what we are suffering now, which is called prarabdha karma, or it's manifesting. And there is some unmanifested aprarabdha karma, which we will suffer in future life. Okay, all that will get crushed by doing devotional service. Uttama is beyond tamas. Devotional service is never contaminated by the modes. Although sometimes devotees appear to be engaged like ordinary men, therefore devotional service is transcendent. it's Uttam. And as we know, Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayade bahadupaya. Any small devotional service done will save us from great danger. Okay, so that is one thing. And direct perception, it's pratyakshavakam. It will give you direct experience. Like, see, we tell you to chant Hare Krishna, we tell you to read all that, but the experience which you get, that's your personal experience. When you chant Hare Krishna, the peace of mind you feel or the happiness within yourself, that is experienced by yourself, no? So that is the greatest evidence you can have. So it's a direct perception of the self by realization, and one can feel the transcendental pleasure. Why is that we get that happiness when we associate with Krishna? When you chant the holy name, why is that you're getting that happiness?
Mataji, is it because that is our natural relationship of servitor to the Lord? So when we do anything resembling that or near that, we get that terrific happiness, terrific satisfaction that we have taken even one small step in that direction, Mataji. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
One is that we are the servant, so that Jivera Sorobhai Krishna Nityadas, so that is our eternal position. So when we do devotional service, we naturally feel happy because we are naturally devotees of Krishna. Okay, Padma Shri Mataji.
Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure. He is Akhila
Yes.
Rasamrita Sindhu. So
Very
when
good.
we connect to him, we get it all automatically.
Yeah. You read Nectar of Devotion?
Yes, Mataji.
This is from Nectar of Devotion. So it says, Rupa Goswami says, Krishna is Akhila Rasamrita Murti. That means all the rasas, and he's the reservoir of all pleasure. Like there is a gulab jamun kept, and there is another sweet like a laddu or something, which is little milder sweet. So you take laddu and you take gulab jamun, you feel more sweetness in gulab jamun. Why? Because it's more higher taste. And once you take laddu and then eat gulab jamun, still you can feel the taste of gulab jamun. But the other way, if you eat gulab jamun first and then laddu, you will not feel any taste because you have already reached the highest. So similarly, Krishna's devotion service is the highest. Param Drishwani Vartan, it's the highest taste we have. And why? Because Krishna himself is full of mellows. He's a reservoir of all pleasure. So he's called Akhila Rasamrita Murti. All the rasas are there in Krishna, and everything, all full in full, 100% is there in Krishna. That when you associate with Krishna's name, form, quality, past and nama, rupa, guna, leela, you get that happiness. And as Mother said, yes, we eternally that, so that we feel that happiness. But the real reason is Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure. Because of that, we are getting that pleasure. That's why even if somebody comes and tell you, I'll give you 1 crore rupees, stop chanting Hare Krishna, you will not stop. Why? Because you already got that taste, and money can't buy that happiness. So you will not go back. If we were initially a few years back, if somebody bribed us, definitely we would have done, because we didn't realize that taste. But now we've come so far by Vaishnava's mercy, Krishna's mercy, Guru Krishna Kripai, Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. You've got that bija and it start growing. Now you will not stop because you have tasted that transcendental taste or that mellow from Krishna. So, and Krishna will never leave you. It says that Putana, Krishna caught hold of her breast and he never left. Even Putana tried to push Krishna and leave me her, because her life was going. And Krishna is like, once he catch hold of someone, he will never leave you. So that's Krishna's mercy. And we don't want to be left also. But that's what Krishna will somehow see, that the soul is pulled towards him. And Krishna will take away all the obstacles which you have in your way. But it also depends on your previous karma. But if you sincerely want to serve Krishna and you have that desire, Krishna will fulfill it. We don't know how, but Krishna will do that, because he can do anything he wants. But it depends on your sincerity. Prabhupada says we have to show Krishna how sincere we are, serious we are. Don't try to see Krishna. Work in such a way that Krishna sees you. I mean, who is this devotee who's calling me? Who is this devotee? So there's a nice story. Like there was a cowherd boy and he was grazing all his cows and going. So one of the cows' name was Balram. So he was raising the cows as usual, and there was one person walking nearby. So this cow, who's Balram, he's very naughty. He keeps going out of the track and all. So this cowherd boy kept on calling, Balram, come front, come in the crowd. And why are you going that side, this side? Walk properly. So this person, another person who was walking, his name was also Balram. So whenever the cowherd man calls Balram to his cow, the person thinks the cowherd person is calling him. So he'll also turn Like, I am walking correctly, no? Why is he calling my name? And again they walked. Then he understood, oh, the cow's name is Balram. But after some 5 minutes, again the cowherd boy said, Balram, come this side. And again that person turned. Why is he calling me? So it seems even though we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, we actually are not calling Krishna because we are not chanting Shuddha now. We are thinking so many other things and we're doing inattentive chanting. But Krishna will think that, oh, he's calling me or she's calling me and he'll come. So that is Krishna's mercy. So Krishna keeps, oh, this person is calling me, this person is calling me. And Krishna is very, very merciful. Him Kambadayalam Sharanam Brajali. He's so merciful that he can give Putana, the position of a mother, who gave poison to him. So won't he care the devotees who sincerely try to chant his holy name and try to make advancement? So definitely Krishna will help. But only thing is we should take our own effort. Okay, we should. So devotional service is very powerful. Simply by engaging, one becomes enlightened. And Narad Muni also, we know that when he was young, he was a maidservant's son, that he served the Bhakti Vedantist for 4 months in Chaturmasya. Okay, earlier life as a son of a maidservant, and he became Narad Muni. So Sadhu Sangha is very, very important. So it's dharma. It's the perfection of religion, the highest goal of religion. Bhagavatam says, Savai pumsa paro dharmo yato bhaktir atokshache ahaituki apratihada ye atma suprasiddhi. Atma suprasiddhi. It will completely satisfy the self. You will not get this satisfaction anywhere else in the world. Wherever you go, whichever money or things and sense gratification you do, this happiness of devotional service, you will not get. Okay, this loving devotional service to the Lord. Such devotional service should be unmotivated and uninterrupted. Then only it will satisfy the self. And whatever we do, Vedeshu Yitnyeshu Tapassu Chaiva Daneshu Yat Punya Phalam Pradishtam Atyedi Tat Sarvamidam Viditva Yogi Param Sthanam Upaiti Chadyam. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying Vedas, performing sacrifice. All this, whatever you do, it's all taken care of just by doing devotional service. So it's very important. It's Uddhava also says to Krishna, Yadagni Shushudha Ramshi Karoti Etamsi Pasmasat Tadamat Vishya Bhakti Utpai Deva Krishna says to Uddhava that Uddhava, my devotional service is like the fire getting burned, the wood to ashes. Pasmasa, the fire, no? When you put the matchbox and matchsticks, and the fire also can become ash just by that. I mean, the wood can become an ash by that fire. So similarly, all the sins and all the bad karmas we have accumulated in 84 lakh janmas of life, everything gets crushed just by the fire of devotional service or bhakti. So potent. Devotional service is so important. We don't know how much benefit we are getting by chanting, by listening to Bhagavad Gita and all that. Simply by associating with great acharyas, Acharyavat Purusho Veda, we can get a lot of benefit. And associating with great acharyas will help us to cross over all kind of difficulties. And it's susukam. It can be easily performed. It's not like you have to close your eyes and sit in Ashtanga Yoga and Pranayama. And sometimes very difficult to do dhyana, concentration, meditation. But devotional service is very easy. Prabhupada says, you keep chanting, you get bored, you can listen to Kirtan. You get bored, you can dance in the Kirtan. You get bored, you associate with devotees. Or you get bored, you read Shastras. Still, you can hear to Krishna Katha. Or the non-boring, the most least boring devotional services having prasadam. Nobody sleeps during prasadam. So that can be done. So this is also sukham. So one can simply hear the chanting of the glories of the holy name and attend the lectures on transcendental knowledge from the acharyas. Simply by sitting, one can learn and one can eat the remnants of food offered to Krishna, nice palatable dishes. In every state, devotional services joyful. Like even Sanat Kumaras, the 4 Kumaras, became devotees by smelling or tasting the tulsi that was offered to the lotus feet of Krishna. When did this happen? Does anyone know? When did the Kumaras taste the tulsi leaves of the lotus feet of Krishna?
When they reached the gates of Vaikuntha planet, when they were conversing with Jay and Vijay.
Yeah, very good. So when the 4 Kumaras, they wanted to see Vishnu and they reached Vaikuntha, they were stopped at the 7th gate by Jaya and Vijaya, and the cursing happened. So at that time, Vishnu came out, and that time, because they were Mayavadis, the Sanat Kumaras were Brahmavadis before, but when they saw the beautiful form of the Lord Vishnu and they smelled the tulsi offered to the Lord's feet, they became devotees. That time the Sanat Kumaras, because they were stopped for entering into Vaikuntha, they cursed Jaya Vijaya to become Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Shishupal, Dandavakra, Ravana, and Kumbhakarna. So that story comes. So that's how they became devotee. In every state, devotional service is joyfully performed. One can execute devotional service even in the most poverty-stricken condition. Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Lam Toyam. You don't have fruits, you don't have flowers, you don't have tulsi. It's okay. Water is available every house. So any position, anywhere you can offer water to Krishna, that's not an issue. You can become devotee like that. And it's abhyayam, it's eternally existing. Okay. So the devotional service will keep continuing. Even after liberation, the devotional service is continuing. Okay, it's not because it's Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, na shochati na kakshati, sama sarvesha bhutesha matpatti labade param. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, that transcendental happiness we will get because Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure. Okay, and when we do devotional service, evam prasanna manaso bhagavat bhakti yogataha bhagavat tattva vijnana mukta sangasya jayate. So in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind have been lived by contact with devotional service of the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality God in the stage of liberation from material association. Okay, but a faithless person cannot attain Krishna, or the faithless person cannot progress in Krishna consciousness. So faith is very, very important. Shraddha. Ado Shraddha Tadu Sadhu Sangha. So this second sloka has a big purport by Srila Prabhupada. I request all of you to please read. It is very, very important. Realization of a pure devotee. Ashraddhadana Purusha Dharmasya Parantapa Aprapyamam Vartante Mritti Samsaravatmani. But those who are not faithful in devotional service cannot attain Krishna, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. Okay, so one my announcement is that my services have changed in this temple. So it's my evening service. I'll reach only by 7:30. So is it okay with everyone if the classes happens at 8 o'clock every Saturday instead of 7:30? Anybody has any problem?
Yes, no problem.
Mataji, it's okay. Thank you.
8 o'clock is fine, Mataji.
Yeah. Yes, because the temple has gone bigger, so our services also have become bigger, and there is less devotees here. So to do service, so evening service is given to me. So there is little bit that DT. So I need to rush and come. So, but then anyway, so but we can finish by 9:30. 9:30 would be nice if we could finish every Saturday like that. Okay, so development as faith is very important, because if we don't have faith, how will we believe all this, no? All the pastimes and all. So how can you develop faith? How do you develop faith? Yes?
By hearing from a bona fide representative of God.
By hearing. Before that, how do you develop faith? To hear, we should have faith, no? From the bona fide master. If you don't have faith, how will you feel like hearing?
A desire, Mataji.
Desire to hear, that's fine, but then faith should be there. But
Oh,
desire
Sukriti. Mataji, Sukriti, maybe, I don't know. I'm sorry, guessing.
is how? Yes, we get
By practice, by
Vaishnavas
doing
must
the
be
Vaidhi Bhakti.
Vaishnavas. From Vaishnavas. So there are 2 steps. There are 9 steps in this thing, right? Bhakti. Shado, Shraddha, Sadhu, Sangha, Bhajana, Kriya, Karivritti, like that. Till Prema. Before Shraddha, there are 2 steps. There's something called Satam, Kripa, and Mahat Seva. First is Mahat Seva. You need to serve Vaishnavas, and then you get Satam Kripa. You get their mercy. And by doing this, by association and by service, we can have faith. So faith, simply by serving Krishna, one can achieve all perfection. Yada tarur mula nischanena. That means you water the root of the tree, then the whole tree is satisfied. Or put food to the stomach, the whole body gets satisfied, nourished. So there are 3 kinds of devotees based on faith. Okay. The third is the lowest, Kanishta Adhikaris. They have no good faith, no knowledge of scriptures, and easily fall down. May officially be engaged in devotional service, but they didn't get the highest taste. And second level is they have firm faith, but they're not advanced in scriptures. And the highest is called, so second is called Madhyamadhikari, Karishta, Madhyama, and first is Uttamadhikari. They have firm faith and well-versed in devotional scriptures. No chance of fall down. We'll see this detail in Nectar of Devotion in detail. Who's Kanishta, who's Madhyama, and who's Uttama. So faith is required, and it is created by association of devotees. When you serve Vaishnavas, then you get their mercy and the faith comes. So faithless will find this path of devotional service very difficult. Like really, that is an offense, no? The fifth offense to the holy name, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. When we say that you chant Hare Krishna, you can go back to Krishna, you get moksha, they're like, really? I don't think so. If you don't have faith, then that is offense. If you chant Hare Krishna, that's offense. And that process will not work. There's something called the placebo therapy, no? The doctors will give, it's not a medicine, but they give sugar candies and all, saying that this is medicine. And once you take it, your disease will go. So since they have so much faith in the doctor, just a placebo therapy will cure their disease. So that faith should be there in us. Then only Harinam will act. Harinam will definitely act even if you are faithless, but the process will be a little slow. So after hearing about Krishna, excellence in devotional service, they think to be simply theology. Even if supposedly engaged in devotional service. So the faith is very important, very little hope of perfection. And destiny of faithless is that they return to the path of birth and death. They gave up all other engagement and we have to adopt to the service of the Lord with full faith. And 4 to 10 is about Aishwarya Jnana, that's Krishna's relationship with this material world. Maya tadam idam sarvam jagat avyaktamurtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham teshavasthitam. Krishna says, by me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is perverted. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. What does this mean? All things are in Krishna, but Krishna is not in them. Yes? Does anyone know
Everything depends on Krishna, but
yes.
Krishna is not dependent on anybody.
Yeah, Krishna is not dependent on anyone. Okay. One way of understanding. That means Krishna is aloof. No? What is the analogy mentioned in this sloka? Does anyone know the purport? What is the example, crude example Prabhupada gives?
Is it
watering the root of
water
the
droplet
plant, Mataji, and providing food to the stomach?
No.
Spider. Spider. He makes a web and then he can swallow it, right?
Okay,
So
that is, but in this sloka, in this
water droplet on lotus leaf, Mataji.
No, that in this purport.
The wind is everywhere, but that rest in the sky, Mataji.
Which one? The sun?
Wind. The wind is everywhere, but rest in the sky.
Prabhupada talks about the king.
The head of a government, like a king.
Yes. The head of the government. Yes, Mataji, you can explain that. The king.
Yes, so Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji, Pancham Pranam. So Prabhupada says that though basically king heads all the departments, but you can't expect him to be present everywhere. He's not present everywhere, but still he heads all the departments and everything is working as per his instructions.
Yes. So that means the king in the government. Prabhupada says the king heads the government, which is but the manifestation of king's energy. There is different government departments and nothing but the energies of the king. And each department is resting on king's power. But still one cannot expect the king to be present in every department. It's like that. Krishna may not be personally present everywhere, but Krishna has all the demigods, the agents to take care of this. Krishna's energy is pervading everywhere, right? So so in that way, he is all pervading. So Krishna has completed his glorification in the most confidential knowledge. Now he'll speak his relationship with this material world. And also he describes the Achintya Bheda, simultaneously oneness and difference of relationship in the material world. What is the Achintya Bheda? Abheda Tattva by Mahaprabhu.
We similar in quality, Mataji, but not in quantity.
Yeah, so we are same in quality with the Lord. That is, he is also Sachidananda. As spirit soul, we are also Sachidananda in quality. But in quantity, he is unlimited and we are just limited, a spark. Okay, so that is the Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattvam. That is simultaneously we are one and different from the Lord. And Aishwarya Jnana, we are knowing about his opulences so that we understand how great the Lord is. Okay. Prabhupada says God is great, but we don't know how great God is. Yes, Ikta Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, this verse is confusing or contradictory, no Mataji, because Krishna is everywhere. Like as like Paramatma or super soul in everything. So why do we say that, like, why is it that it is said here that he's not in, like,
Not in him in the sense aloof. Krishna, no karma will bind him. Like Krishna is in a heart of a thief. Krishna is in a heart of a rapist. Now, whatever recently happened. So you think Krishna is responsible for that act? No. That person have misused his minute independence and his stupid nature that he did that crime. Krishna is in his heart as Paramatma. So does that karma bind Krishna? No, right?
No.
Whatever karma he have done, he has to suffer for that consequences. He has to suffer. But Krishna is there as the Paramatma, as a witness there. But Krishna is aloof in the sense Krishna is within that person's heart as Paramatma, but Krishna is within, without, in the sense he's not attached, or he is the one, not one who guiding that person. For devotees, Krishna give instructions, but for a non-devotee, atheist person, a demonic person, Krishna is just a witness there, because Krishna will never interfere in your minute independence. So he is aloof in the sense Krishna is not bound by the three modes of material nature. Krishna is not bound by our karma. But he's in there in the heart of a criminal also, right? As Paramatma, but he's aloof there. But for a devotee, Krishna takes charge. Krishna will start guiding the devotee. But for a non-devotee, Krishna is just not there for them. Okay, like, so this is very confusing statement. Yeah, like in Ishopanishad also, mantra 5 says Krishna walks, he doesn't walk. Krishna is far, he's near. He's within, he's without. So a little confusing. These are contradictory statements because it proves the inconceivable potency of the Lord. So achintya, we can't even think about it, Mother. It's beyond our what we say, beyond our scope of understanding the Lord's potencies. Okay, so Krishna supports and pervades the entire universe through his energies. Okay, all the energies are pervaded by the Lord because everything is his energy, and he's Avyakta Murtina, Jagat Avyakta Murtina. That means in the unmanifested form. We cannot see the Lord with our gross material senses. Other Sri Krishna Nama Adi Nava Vekrahim Indriya Sevan Mukhi Chikwato Swayameva Swarakrita. These verses have to be memorized by you when you go to Nectar of Devotion. So, other Sri Krishna Nama Adi, the name, form, quality, past tense, Nama Rupa Guna Lila, cannot be understood. Na Pave Grahim Indriya with our blood senses. What should we do? Sevan Mukhi Jihva. Jihva means tongue. We have to start a service from the tongue through chanting the holy name and taking Krishna Prasad. Then Swayam Eva Spirit, Krishna will manifest on his own. Okay, so Lord is unmanifested to the material senses, but can be perceived by one whose senses are purified by the practice of devotional service. So Krishna will reveal Prema Chidita Bhakti Vilojanena. So he will reveal based on our purity. So all beings are in Krishna, but Krishna is not in them in the sense Krishna is aloof. Like a high court judge. A high court judge gives a statement, no? Or the death sentence to somebody, or might be a small fine to someone. When he gives death sentence to someone, is the judge responsible for that karma? No. He's doing his... So that's the analogy. The king head of the government is present in all the departments. That's the energy of the Lord. But the high court judge is a nice example. And also the sunshine is spread over all creation. All universes are resting in the sunshine. Similarly, all creation is resting in Krishna's energy. That's also... So I'm not in them in the sense Krishna is not responsible, or Krishna is not bound by their karma. Krishna is all pervasive, that does not lose his personal existence also. Okay. So Yogam Aishwaram, in the 5th sloka, again Krishna talks about his Aishwarya Bhav. Nachamatstani bhutani pashyami yogam aishwaram bhuta brinna cha bhutasto mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. Yet everything that is created does not rest in Krishna. Behold his mystic opulence. Although Krishna is the maintainer of all living entities, although he's everywhere, he's not a part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself, it's the very source of creation. As Mataji gave a nice example of a spider, the spider creates the web by his own saliva, maintains it and takes it back. So similarly, Krishna creates, maintains it and takes it back. Okay. And after explaining the previous text that all beings rest in Krishna, Lord says the opposite, that they do not rest in him. In the sense, the contradictory language is meant to show that he's personally aloof from working of this universe, and such functions are carried out by his energies. Everything that is created on Krishna does not rest in Krishna. That means Krishna is aloof. Okay. The planetary system has been floating in the space, and the space is the energy of the Lord. But he is different from the space. The Supreme Lord is performing inconceivable, wonderful pastimes. That's called inconceivable. We can't even think about Achintya Shakti. There is no difference between his mind and himself because he's the absolute spirit. Prabhupada says we may be doing something, but there may be so many impediments and sometimes it's not possible to do as we like. But when Krishna wants to do something, simply by his will, everything is performed so perfectly. Yatakashastito nityam vayu sarvatra go mahan tata sarvani bhutani matstani upadharaya. Understand, there is a mighty wind blowing everywhere. Rest always in the sky. All created beings rest in me. So that is another example. The wind blowing. Yes, as Mother said. Okay, so it's out of fear of the Lord the wind is blowing. Actually, it is said. The sky. The analogy is the sky and the wind. Sky is the biggest manifestation to conceive. In that sky, wind is the biggest to conceive. So wind is great and influence all movements. But when wind is never beyond the sky, it's always subordinate to the sky. Similarly, all wonderful cosmic manifestations exist by the will of the Lord. Still, the Lord is aloof and unaffected. Like the sky is aloof, not affected by the movement of wind. So it's a very important analogy of sky and the wind, you should know. And it's out of fear of the Lord, the wind is blowing because everything is controlled by the Lord. There is supreme order. Under the superintendence of the Lord, the moon, the sun, and the planets are moving. So Krishna is the one who actually gives the comment or the instructions for the wind and the fire and all that. Yachakshuresha savida sakalagrahana raja samasta suramuti rashesha teja yasya kya pramati samprada kala chakro govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So it says the movement of the sun. That sun is considered to be one of the eyes of the Supreme Lord. And it has immense potency to diffuse heat and light. Still, it is moving in its prescribed orbit by the order and the will of the Lord. So 7 to 8 is about the creation and destruction of this material world. Sarva bhudani kaundeya prakritim yanti mahamikam kalpakshaye punastani kalpadau vishrajamyaham. O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestation enters into Krishna's nature. At the beginning of another millennium, by his potency, he creates them again. So that's what. So after Pralaya, after annihilation, everything enters to Krishna. But later on, Krishna himself produced that. So it's annihilated again and again. Bhuta, Bhuta, Praliyate, and it comes again. So, okay, so that's how creation and everything happens. So Krishna says that under the will of the Lord, the material manifestation is automatically created and is annihilated again and again. So that means at the time of Brahma's death, that is the end of millennium, at that time, all energies want out in the Lord himself. The Lord expands himself in the material energy. So all species are created by Krishna at the beginning of the universe, of the creation, and then again it is annihilated. So if Krishna is Paramatma, Parameshwara is aloof, and how does the material world continue? Because by the supreme will, because it's always present. Everything is definitely under the supreme will of the Lord. He enters as Vishnu, the three forms, into Mahat Tattva to create. There's no direct involvement of the Lord. This man, directly he doesn't go. It's his energy. He does not himself create or destroy, but material nature act by his desire. Okay? And creation takes place to accommodate inclination or the desire of various living entities. So Krishna is actually neutral towards all material activities. He is not attached to anything. He is aloof from everything. Nacha mam tani karmani nibadnyati dhananjaya udasina vadasinam asaktam teshu karmasu. O Dhananjaya, of all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached from all these material activities, seated as though neutral. Even though Krishna is neutral, he is detached from everything. He is not attached to anything. Lord is always neutral. Samoham sarva bhudeshu namedveshi nastina priya. Krishna says. Nobody is very dear to Krishna. Yes, pure devotees are, because he says, Samoham sarva bhudeshu namedveshi nastina priya. Ye bhajantitu mam bhaktya mai te deshu jami. But somebody who do bhajan to Krishna, a devotee, is very dear to Krishna. But otherwise, Krishna is neutral. The Lord is always neutral in material activities in the created world. Material activities is carried out by Krishna's potencies. Still, he has control over every minute details. Like the example given is a high court judge, okay, giving so many decisions, but he is neutral, unaffected. Prabhupada quotes it, the Purport from Vedanta Sutra also, he says, The Lord is transcendental to all material dualities. Does it mean that Lord has no engagement? No, he's always involved in his eternal blissful spiritual activities, but he has nothing to do with material activities. Krishna is the supreme director of the Prakriti. Maya Dakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharashara Hetunanena Kaunteya Jagat Parivartate Maya Adekshena Prakriti. So it's by his order the material world is moving. This material nature is one of Krishna's energy and is working under Krishna's direction. So son of Kunti, moving, producing all moving and non-moving. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Okay, so the Lord is neutral and aloof, but he simply sanctions the material energy. The management is done by the material nature on the behalf of the Lord. The Lord is detached. Sarva Yonishu Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavantiya Tasham Brahma Mahatyuni Aham Bija Pratapita. Krishna is the seed-giving father. Seed-giving father. So all species are decided based on the past deeds and desires of the living entity. Prabhupada quotes in the purport saying the examples from Smriti. There's a fragrance of the flower. It's very important knowledge. Fragrance of a flower. Okay, it's touched, and the fragrance of a flower touched by the smelling power of a person. Yet smelling and the flower is detached. Similar connection is there between the material world and the Supreme Lord. There is a flower, there is a fragrance, you can smell it, but then you know the smelling and the flower is kind of detached. There is no attachment to it. Okay, explain in your own words Krishna's relationship with the material world. You need to give some Sanskrit terms. You need to go through Prabhupada's purport and give analogies for 9.4 and 10. Okay, 9.4 to 10. So that will be a breakout room. After this, Mataji can post the attendance link. I'll put it in the chat. Just go through the verse 9.4 to 10 and understand Krishna's relationship with this material world. You have to give your Sanskrit terms and also analogies. Okay, go through the breakout room and come back.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
and we cannot see him, but everything is resting in him.
Hare Krishna. Some people didn't realize that we were back to the main room from the breakout room. Okay, so Mataji, you can post the attendance link. So who likes to speak from any of the rooms? Yes, Siddharth Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, we have decided in our team that although you have asked that each one of or one person should say, but somehow we decided that from 9.4 to 9.10, each one of us would like to talk about the specific Sanskrit terms, which is referring to Krishna's.
That's always great, Prabhu. That is good. Okay.
Thank you. So I'll ask Mataji to start with 9.4, and then I'll end with 9.10. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So 9.4. So basically, Lord Krishna says that all in 9.4, Krishna says all beings are in me, but I am not in them. And in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. So Prabhupada is actually talking. So Prabhupada refers to the Sanskrit word avyakta murtina, by the unmanifested form. So basically, it says that though so he's pervading, he's present everywhere, but we cannot see him through our material senses. But everything is created by him, and everything is resting in him. So he's created. He's not directly created this material world. He has created it through two different energies, which is superior and inferior energy. Inferior being the material, and superior being the living entity. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Mamta Guru. Yes, I have taken a 9.5, and in this shloka, the Lord is saying that everything is created by Him, but everything is like created, but He does not rest in me. And although he's a maintainer of all living entities, and although I'm everywhere, but I'm not part of this cosmic manifestation, or for myself, it is very source of creation. So the Sanskrit words are Bhut Vrita, Bhutstha, and Bhut Bhavana. The maintainer of all the energy, in the cosmic manifestation, the source of all manifestation. These are the words. And Matsthani, Sarvbhutani. So people understand differently. These are the basic main words.
Hare Krishna, 9.67. Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
No one is coming, then Hare Krishna, then I'll go to 9.10. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, who's taken 9.6? So should I start 9.7?
Yeah, you start 9.7. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. So in 9.7 here, it says that Krishna, at the end of every millennium, when everything is destroyed, everything goes into him. And when a new millennium starts, it is by his potency that he creates everything. He is the person who creates, maintains, annihilates everything. And by his will, whenever he wants, it is again regenerated by his will. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So I'm just kind of reading out 9.10, which are the words. So in fact, 9.10 is full of the about Prakriti and how he is related to the Prakriti. So the words are, one is Prakriti, one is Suyate, one is Sacharacharam, then of course Chara and Acharam, primarily the moving and the non-moving. So he's saying that the Prakriti or the material nature, that is primarily his energy, and that is working under his direction. And he's also saying that all the moving and non-moving beings are being produced from him and under its rule. He means from the energies, and under that rule of the energy, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. So there is another word that is viparivartate, is that is what is working. In the purport also, I think it is quite explained in a very lucid way, that that is about the similar connection between the material world and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it is also saying that he is actually he doesn't do anything, but at the same time he creates, and just by his glance he creates the prakriti, and he is the I mean, he does the superintendence of the nature. Hare Krishna Mataji. That is from our team.
Hare Krishna.
Have I to summarize text 9, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes.
Text 9 is Hare Krishna Mataji. Text 9 explains that Krishna, no work can bind him because he is always detached, neutral, actually in a sense neutral. And the material activities are actually carried out by his different potencies. That's what they said in this purport. And the neutrality, that is what is meant in that sloga, Udasina Vad. That means neutrality. And Prabhupada gives an example of a High Court judge. He refers to a High Court judge, Krishna like a High Court judge. That is, Krishna will do, I mean, the High Court judge will do all the orders, whatever he has the right to do. That is, so when culprit can be hanged, somebody can be put in jail, or somebody is mounted, awarded a huge amount of wealth. But the judge has nothing to do with all this. All that he does is he gives out his summons, and he's neutral. He has nothing to do with gain or less or loss. So that's Prabhupada is Prabhupada is comparing that with the Lord. Lord is always neutral, though he has his hand in every sphere of activity, but he's detached from everything. He's attached to creation and annihilation, but he's on the whole he's neutral, though he has his hand in everything. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. That's what I can understand from this ninth sloka.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so any other group likes to speak?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Shall I continue, Mataji?
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Yeah, Mataji 9.4, Krishna, he's saying he is the Avyakta Murtina. That means he is in the unmanifested form and he is all pervading. And he is saying, Na chaham tesva astitaha. That means he is saying, I am not in them. That means he is aloof. That is in Shloka 4. Coming to Shloka number 5, he is saying, I am Yogam Aishwaryam. That means Yogam Aishwaryam in the sense he is the inconceivable mystic power. And in the Sanskrit word, he is saying, Nacha Bhutasto. Nacha Bhutasto means he is saying, I am not part of this particular cosmic manifestation in 5. And coming to 6th, he is speaking about his supreme will. That supreme will, that means Sarva Bhutani. With that supreme will only, he is creating all the beings. But at the same time, he is nowhere attached or nowhere involved in that particular activities of that. That is in 6th Mataji. And coming to 7th. 7th and 8th a little bit similar. So I will combinedly tell Mataji. That is, here it is speaking about creation, maintenance and the annihilation. That means Sarva Bhutani. All the entities are created by me, and at the end of the millennium, the annihilation also happens by me. That is what it is mentioned, Mataji, here. And coming to eighth, he is saying that simply under his will and simply under his inconceivable potency, this material manifestation is created. And but whatever the forms of that living entities which would be impregnated into this material world, he is not responsible for that. For that, it is only the jiva responsible for the past activities. That is, his involvement in creation, he is telling. At the same time, whatever forms the living entities are taken, that his involvement is not there. That he is telling in 8th. And coming to 9th, Mataji, he is saying here, Udasina Vat. Udasina Vat means he is saying that he is neutral, though he has created this particular material world. And that particular work, whatever happens in the material world, does not bind him in 9. And coming to 10th verse, he's saying his Jagat Viparivartate. That means the cosmic manifestation is just working under him, but he is detached from the activities and the working of that particular material activities, Mataji. That is, he is detached from all the material activities done within the material world. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Just correct me if in case any of the verses I
Hare
need to
Krishna.
understand properly.
Hare Krishna. Yes, yes.
Hare Krishna.
Anyone else like to add?
May I, Mataji?
Yes, yes.
Mataji, in text 9, there is a word, Vaisamya Nirgrihnena. He is not affected by dualities of the material world. He is transcendental to the dualities. Neither he is not attached to the creation of the world nor annihilation. And he is not even responsible for the living entities, karmas and past deeds, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. Okay. Okay. Any other group who likes to add? Hare Krishna. Yes, Jyoti Mataji, are you done? Like, I think your voice got cut after that.
No, sorry, Mataji. There is a one Sanskrit word in text 9. Vaisamya Nirgrihnena. He is not affected by the dualities of the material world. He is transcendental to these dualities, Mataji. And he is not attached to the creation or annihilation of any activities of the material world. And the living entities, whatever they do, the karmas and past state, he is also not responsible. This is the one, Mataji, you want to add. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Okay, I think we are done with all the groups. Hare Krishna. Okay, I think we can end here. Any doubts until we covered Loka 10? Okay. Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining. Mancha Kalpadara Krishna Kripa Sindhu Devi Paditana Pavaneva Vaishnavi.